Yo, beautiful people. Last week was a special episode, but this episode is even special because we could not wait to review what happened in Super Bowl 55. If you watching this, you just saw Sedacious and Isaac's reaction. This is going to be a great episode. I know in previous episodes, we're always talking about rewinding the tape. Go back, check this out. So-and-so said this. Coach Johnson said that. Sedacious said this. Darnell said this. So on and so forth. So we all know who had what picks. I was dying on the ship with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coach Johnson decided to also not pick Tom Brady, but pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Coach Johnson dies on any ship that is available in the harbor and/or dock. But go on.
Sedacious, Shiloh, Izzo, and Black Peace all chose Patrick Mahomes boy. And obviously that didn't work out in their favor. But hey, everybody, sometimes you're gonna be right, sometimes you're gonna be wrong. But we have beat his head in time and time again, week after week, challenging his credentials as a true coach and his expertise as an X's and O's guy. He said the Super Bowl was the first game he actually dug into and looked at the X's and O's and looked at the schemes here and here and looked at the talent on both sides. And that's what led him to picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that being Coach Johnson. He also, and if you also true fans of us, you had a chance to go back and look at the plays that he drew up and said, this is the game plan the Bucs need to have. This is the game plan the Chiefs need to have, both on offense and defense. And that game plan stood to be true for Coach Johnson. Maybe we're going to say they was watching a podcast, and that's how they came out on top. Not solely. Obviously, some of that had to do with Tom Brady.
Respect the podcast, Gate.
True. But yeah, man, to kick it off, first and foremost, you already know my name is Edward, named after my father, who's a great man. You always know you need to stop what you're doing and tell the person next to you to stop what they're doing, and make sure you go follow @EMAXStacks for all your up-to-date sports coverage on all levels, high school, college, and the pros. And as always, I know I'm somebody, but I'm really nobody on this podcast without my brothers. So I know we normally have a particular order, but Sedacious, Isaac, and Darnell, introduce yourselves how you may. Coach Johnson has requested to go last this week, so we'll let him make his intro last as he introduces himself on the podcast.
He don't like how y'all take it. So this is not sitting well in my spirit. Yeah. Follow me. Twitter, Instagram, all that.
Yo, this is Black Peace, host of Talking Smoke. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good business. Follow Talking Smoke, all that. You know what I'm saying? Pass to the livest one.
That's a good plug, Darnell.
Oh, okay. Well,
You are the livest.
I'm not even gonna do my script. Fuck it. It's your boy Louder Rapper, motherfucking Sedacious, Xavier Miles, the one and only. You ain't never met a motherfucker like me. Nobody doper than me. And go follow my brothers. Thank you so much for watching us, motherfuckers. We appreciate it. Don't take the shit for granted. Now, Christian, you can have your motherfucking time now.
I ain't mad.
Oh, with the intro.
Listen,
I am Coach Johnson. I am the husband of Jordan. I am the father of Harper and Deuce. I am the one that looked into the future, that told everybody that there was a chance that the Buccaneers defense, which was elite, would be the ones to show up and show out. I'm the one that said that as long as we got old Tom Brady, not TB12, we know that their offense will be controlling the game. I'm just saying, when I tell y'all that I've dug into something, I've dug into it. I'm not right all the time. But when I do my work is good. Take it away, Edward.
All right, beautiful people. First and foremost, last week it was heavy in terms of like people reaching out to us and saying, "Yo, we've been watching y'all podcast. We truly mess with y'all. Keep going what y'all doing." But the momentum keeps growing and it keeps growing and it keeps growing, and people keep hitting us up in comments and DMs and so forth. And we're gonna keep showing y'all love and telling y'all we thank you and we appreciate it. And like Sedacia said, we don't motherfucking be goddamn take it for granted. And so somewhere down the line, hopefully sooner than rather later, we're going to try to find a way to, interact with y'all on the podcast. Because, like, y'all don't always like our takes, so y'all want to agree with us and y'all want to share y'all 2 bits. So we're going to find a way.
We should go live. We should go live. Maybe 1 week, go off 1 week, then go live on Instagram,
We gonna make it happen. We're going to make it happen. We know y'all want to challenge Coach Johnson, Darnell, myself, live, and Sean Hart, Izzo. So it's going to happen sooner rather than later, hopefully. So everybody is going to...
I was going to say that. Fuck you.
Everybody is going to get a chance to go before the jury today. We're not going to interrupt anybody starting off, obviously. We're going to let everybody give their 2 cents on how their perspective on the Super Bowl after Darnell. No free advertisement. They haven't gave us any money yet. But yeah, don't interrupt nobody starting off. We're gonna let everybody hear what they had to say leading up to the Super Bowl, and then we're gonna hear their take now after the fact. So for me, obviously, like I said, man, it wasn't. I know winners, point blank and period. Okay, I admire dudes who find a way to get the job done, and that's what I see in Tom Brady. That's what I've always seen in Tom Brady. I will add to the fact that this podcast has allowed me to grow my respect more and more for the game of football. I have been guilty a lot of times of watching the game of football with the eye of a basketball mind, and truly understanding that Tom Brady did not beat the Kansas City Chiefs. The team and the defense played a significant role in that game. However, we will not act like Tom Brady didn't handle his job and uphold his end of the bargain to see to it that there was a 31-9 victory, okay? In the past, I would have just said Tom Brady, and had no regard or respect for whatever the defense was doing. I will not make that mistake again. And if you're out there and you were like who I once was, I was blind, but now I see. It is as Isaac would say, I coined this term for my boy Sean Hart, Izzo, who I've learned from about the game of football on this podcast. Complementary football. And I think you've seen that at a very beautiful level in Super Bowl 55 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And on top of that complementary football, you also want to make sure if you got a quarterback who has the most control of a game, considering all the variables around it. You want to make sure you have a guy in that spot who can and will get the job done and who has proven to get the job done. No matter how it looks, they find a way to get the job done. That is who Tom Brady is. That is why he is GOATed. And that is why I will forever and always die on that ship of Tom Brady. I think it'll make great content if we go to Sean Hart Izzo next. But before he talks, let's go back to his previous take leading up to the Super Bowl.
A majority of the percentage, I would succumb to be Patrick Mahomes being the reason for them winning. But I do believe Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid will call a masterful game offensively. I just have his brilliance surpassing the brilliance of Brady due to him being a more physically gifted player, along with him still having that youth on his side and the arm talent. I believe Tyron will make some timely plays. I believe Chris Jones on the D-line will make some timely plays for him. And I just think Patrick will go out there and be Patrick. And not to mention, the man Tyreek Hill had 200 fucking yards in the first quarter the last time they played. The shit wasn't close.
Sean Hart Izzo, the floor is yours, my brother.
Shine, baby.
Giving all thanks to God. Man,
we needed that.
This is what it feel like, man. These feel like testimonials. But I say this, man. Hats off to Thomas Patrick Edward Brady, man, for being who we've all known him to be. You know, he is who we thought he was. You know, so I definitely want to say, you know, I do admit and can admit when I was wrong. Definitely was wrong. The Bucks had a masterful game plan, man. The defense was excellent. They had got back a pivotal piece on their D line. And they were hellacious, man. Even without the blitz, man, the D line was able to go up against not one, not two, but three backups and dominate. So, wow, am I surprised? No. Did I think Patrick Mahomes would overcome that? Yes. Was I wrong? Woefully. They got their ass kicked, man, up and down the field, and I don't believe it was close throughout any particular time of the game. Like I said, I do believe Tom Brady got a couple reps in his pocket. That's just my own personal belief. I believe the interception that Tyrann Mathieu caught off the deflection should have stood. I believe the holding was minuscule on that play in which he got called, and it was away from the ball, and he had no bearings on the play. So I believe that was, I believe that was a bad call. But other than that, man, and them having 100 yards and penalties as well, I don't know what that was about. Again, you might want to have to interview the refs, but man, the Chiefs got bad Chiefs, man, but good Bucks, man. They were ready all the way around. Todd Bowles called a hell of a game on the defensive side of the ball, and Brady was a fucking surgeon, on the offensive side, man. And Patrick didn't have a clean pocket to throw from the whole game, man. He was literally running for his life. I believe the advanced stats say he ran almost 500 yards. In regards to trying to escape the rush. So you got a man quite literally running for 1,000 yards in one game. Shit,
trying to get away.
Just trying to get away, man. You are pressed to believe that he was able to get any motion going. But like I said, Tom got 7, man. Patrick will be back, but hats off to the Bucks.
We have Live the Rapper up next, going before the jury.
Oh, we're not doing Darnell, B.
We're gonna go with Live the Rapper next, beautiful people.
Like how I talk about how LeBron don't have to be clutch because he's gonna take the game in the third quarter and sit down for the rest of the fourth. Patrick Mahomes is riding into that. He's riding into, I'm gonna spank your ass for 3 quarters, so I don't have to do shit. My defense ain't got to do shit, and I feel like that's what's gonna happen in the Super Bowl. We really think it's gonna be a shootout and it's gonna be a spanking. I want to say that was my take before knowing that my boy not gonna have 3 of the best guys who are the best at protecting him. I mean, like let's be honest. The Buccaneers did not play the Kansas City Chiefs. Like they played a variation of the Chiefs because they don't have what they're not all the way there, bro. I want to put, of course, it's not their fault that the O-linemen were hurt, right? But let's not just act like, come on, man, stop it. I hate when people do that shit. You pick the Bucks and you pick Tom Brady and they won because the Chiefs wasn't at full power. And so it's just like, Tom Brady, y'all tell y'all Tom Brady, why y'all bet against Tom Brady? I'll fuck all that Tom Brady. Like, no, wait, no. The Chiefs offense couldn't do nothing, bro. It's almost like they played for the Tampa Bay defense to shine. So anyway, yeah, hats off to Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? You saw a disadvantage, and I mean, you did what you had to do to win. You know what I'm saying? I can't take that away from you. And yes, Tom Brady managed a good game. There we go.
I will say this before we continue. In y'all picking the Chiefs, y'all were not disrespectful towards Tom Brady as if like he's not somebody to be 30. Y'all just felt that the Chiefs were a better team. I give all of y'all that with respect.
Before I knew 3 offensive linemen were not playing in the Super Bowl.
Well, hold on. Well, you should have knew because Eric Fisher had tore his
Achilles against the Bills
the prior game beforehand, so he was out, and we were already missing our starting. I say our, but they were already missing their starting left tackle. In addition to that, and they were down a guard. So quite literally down, 3 out of the 5 starting offensive linemen who started the season. I would pick the opposing team's D line any day of the week as well. If I just didn't think that it would have that much bearing on the game. But as you can see, Tom Brady, when he lost his Super Bowl, the Super Bowls he lost, he was under duress.
Well, let's be honest, bro.
All three of them.
Hold on. Okay. All right. I don't want to talk over Darnell. Darnell, you didn't have any sensational takes. You just said you picking Patrick Mahomes. So we don't necessarily need to play you back. You wasn't saying anything salacious.
No clip? No clip.
No clip.
Okay. So,
so he really only get wild about the Rockets, bro.
I'm gonna get wild about this too, okay? Because at the end of the day, they didn't respect the game. Shout out to the Respect the Game podcast. You can find it on Apple and Spotify. But
oh my God, let us.
I do want to say though, they didn't respect the game, bro. They played regular season football when they should have played postseason Super Bowl football. They didn't come in prepared. Nobody was ready for any kind of schemes. Nobody ready for the rush. They didn't know what to do. I literally watched them be confused. They didn't plan for their best players to be double teamed and schemed for. And it was ridiculous. It was sad, and it was on both sides. The defense was trying to get away with regular season holds. They'll let you get away with half that shit. Yeah. Postseason Super Bowl? No, they call it every little thing. You can't risk it. You got to play your best football. There's no such thing as, I'm going to grab a little here, grab a little. No. That's penalty. 80 yards in penalties in the first half, you're going to lose a game. That's a hill that's so hard to climb up. It's ridiculous. That's mental. Forget physical, forget game planning. That's just straight mental. Like I said, I was watching the game saying they must have got really fucked up and partied right before they went into this game, saying, you know what, we previous champs and we can roll over this team. Tyreek had over 200 plus yards against this team back in week so-and-so. We got this. And that's how they played. And I seen Kelsey's eyes. He looked like, I didn't see him like this the whole entire season. He looked defeated by the first half. And with that being said, man, Tampa Bay wanted to do it in their house, and they did, and they dominated, literally. Hats off to the GOAT. 7 it is, man. 7 it is.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Whether you hate them or you love them, you must admit you tune into this podcast to listen to them. So, want to get ready to play? Do not. We have respected everybody's take and not interrupt anybody.
You did that shit on purpose just so he could say this fly ass shit to us and we not be able to say shit back. You wrong. Wrong.
We will be able to respond, but we will let him have the floor and say what he has to say. Coach Johnson, when you are done speaking, which is a risky statement, say you are done.
What I'm saying, Isaac, if there's a lead, a double-digit lead by the Buccaneers in this game,
they'll come back.
They will not come back.
You crazy.
So you saying if the Chiefs,
you want to put money on that?
By double, hold on, say that again, Christian.
If the Buccaneers are up by double digits late in the game, the Chiefs will not come back on this defense.
Mark this down, Edward. Please mark this down that he just said that.
Tom Brady will solidify himself in the conversation for the greatest athlete ever, as he will pass Jordan for the number of rings that he has. He will get his 7th ring.
God damn.
Before we get to Coach Johnson, well, no, that's still fresh in your mind. So go to Coach Johnson. Let us know when you're done.
Man, I don't even know if I can say it any better. Hat goes off to the entire Buccaneers coaching staff for getting the players ready. Hat goes off to the players for being ready. My hat does go off to my brother Sean Hart Izzo, because he did say something right when he made his comments about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes played his behind off. He is not the reason why they lost. Any other quarterback wouldn't have even made the game look that close. Exactly. It would have been ridiculous. Though we need to give praise to Byron Leftwich for calling a great game. I truly believe that any quarterback that played in the playoffs, if they would have played that game other than Drew Brees or Mitch Trubisky, would have had the same outcome as Tom Brady did that night, because Byron Leftwich called a great game. And he followed the game plan that I put out here on Respect the Game podcast. We saw Tom Brady throw the ball 29 times. 17 attempts were to non-receivers. I said if they had a 50-50 ratio, we knew that they would control the game. And they had over 50% of their passes were to non-receivers. But to the defense, Todd Bowles is getting a lot of praise today, which he should, right? But I texted Edward earlier. I tweeted out at 4:22 p.m. Sunday. The game started at 6:30. 4:22 p.m. on or 6:30 Eastern.
Time. You right, Coach. You right.
6:30 Eastern. So at 4:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I tweeted this out because Todd Bowles today is getting a lot of praise, which he should, but a lot of praise actually needs to go to Raheem Morris. For those of you who don't know who Raheem Morris is, he is currently the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, but he was the interim head coach and defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons in Week 16. When Atlanta played the Kansas City Chiefs, held them to 17 points and almost won the game. They were a dropped pick in the end zone from a win in Week 17 and Week 16. The defense that you saw on Super Bowl Sunday was the same defense that Raheem Morris put out on Week 16. And I tweeted out, I just watched the Atlanta Falcons versus the Chiefs Week 16 film. Raheem Morris is a mother flipping genius. Wish that performance could have been shown on prime time. At least in LA, he'll get more prime time opportunities. The reason I said that is because everyone's going to point to Todd Bowles and say that he was great, which he was. Hey, he's the one who took the risk and said, hey, I'm gonna copy the blueprint and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put my guys in the right position. He coached his team up well. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but I don't know anyone who's talking about Raheem Morris today because they don't understand that the same game plan that he put together in Week 16 that no one watched because it was, a no-burger game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did that, and it led them to victory. Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. I told my brother, y'all can call Ralph and ask him before the game. I said I think Todd Bowles is going to put himself on the map tonight. It was good. It was good. It was great to watch the Bucs handle their business. I'm happy for Leonard Fournette. As a Jags fan, I'm a little salty that he got a Super Bowl without us, but it is what it is. But I'm glad he played well. It was beautiful to watch. It was tough to watch Patrick Mahomes play his heart out and play like the incredible athlete that he is and give everything he could to even make it a game. And he could not get anything from anyone else around him. Not from the receivers, not from the offensive line, not from the play caller.
He didn't get it from shit. He was the only one who showed up to play.
Yeah. So yeah, but I'm gonna end it here. It was beautiful to watch.
So my first question around the game right now, at least, is to Sean Hart is I just want to know if you could disclose how much money you lost on the game.
21 Savage a lot.
Man, yo, what Darnell said. I would rather not, man. Maybe next week when it ain't so fresh. It just happened yesterday. You gotta let me breathe.
Question, follow up, Isaac. Because Christian's brother bets too, but he kind of does it through Vegas and other sports betting.
Yeah. I mess around too.
So like, do you do it through like the apps or like this like shaking of the hand with different partners or what?
You know, man, I'm a diverse man. I like to diversify
Portfolio.
my betting portfolio. Hold on, I know what I want to say. Definitely am a breath at diversifying said portfolio. So I do a little of both, man. I might do DraftKings. I might shake a couple hands with some partners and have a gentleman's bet going too. So yeah, man, lost a shit ton of money and I'm pissed the fuck off about it really. And yeah. Brady, man. God damn. What can you say?
We're gonna bring sports bet into the podcast down the road.
The nigga assembled the Avengers. Impact. Like that.
All right, so another Christian, the reason I had told you you had started off when we was on the phone earlier, it was just like, man, bro, Eric B, bro, he about to get a lot of heat. And I said this last night after the game. And we kind of also talked about this before when you was talking about him leaving to go get certain jobs. You correct me if I'm wrong, but like you were saying that like people have been under a stern belief, a religious belief, if you will, that Kansas City's offensive success is primarily been because of Andy Reid. Now they may say Andy Reid, but it's a afterthought. Oh yeah, Eric B too. Yeah, he the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So because everyone heaps the praise to Andy Reid for the success of Kansas City offense and how great it's been throughout the entire season, I think it is completely unfair now that they underperformed in the Super Bowl with limited, being limited due to injuries and so forth and so on. I think it is completely unfair that now they underperform to now go single out Eric B enemy and say that's your fault. You didn't prepare them.
Gotcha. So
because you didn't say Andy Reid.
Tell you
you
why.
Specifically said Eric B. You didn't say it was Andy Reid's fault. You said specifically Eric B.
Enemy. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I said it. I don't know why other people said it, but I'm gonna tell you the reason why I said it. So I don't know if you guys heard about the car crash that Andy Reid's son got into.
Yes.
Right. And so stories were coming out saying that he was going to back off on the play calling. Now, I don't know how true that is, right? I don't know how true that is. But if it is true, and there were many times where I saw on the broadcast when plays were being called in, Andy Reid had his play call sheet on his side, and Eric Bieniemy had his play call sheet in front of him, talking into the mic. Now, usually when they do that shot, you see Andy with his play call sheet up, you see Eric B with his play call sheet up, you see them both talking. You don't know who's talking to who or what's going on, but normally you see both of them going at the same time. There were about 3 or 4 shots in the game where they looked over and it was Eric Bieniemy talking. So I assumed, putting 2 to 2 together, hey, maybe Andy Reid wanted to make a point and say, hey, I think we can win this game. I think we can win this game big. And I want to show people that this guy who just got passed over for a head coaching gig for the second time, that he can coach. So that's just what I'm assuming, right? Now, you know what they say when you assume, right? So I could be looking dumb after this, but that's the reason why I said what I said. But in all, you're right. The blame, for their play calling, it needs to go on both of them. Somebody had to create the game
because obviously like we wish the people in the accident the utmost best and the utmost best outcome. But like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that happened the day before the Super Bowl or like on a Friday or something. It wasn't that far.
It was. I think it was like 2 days. It was like 2 days before. It was like 2 days before.
So you had 2 weeks to prepare. So like Andy Reid and all of this preparation and the package of what plays are going to be called. So being very sensitive to talking about what his son and the other people was being very sensitive to that, moving that out the picture. He still has a great big deal of what went on with
he
the
does.
preparation.
And you're right, Edward, to call us out on our BS, on those of us who are being hard on Eric Bieniemy. You're right on that. Okay.
Yeah, when you say we, it was only you. But go on.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about people on this podcast. I'm talking about the collective we, the Twitter sphere, the other folks who are calling out Eric Bieniemy today. Yeah, I'm not talking about everybody else on the podcast. I don't know what y'all.
I was though. That's what my perspective was. But go ahead.
Yeah. So but yeah. So you are right, Edward, to call us out. But here's what I'm going to say. For all of those people who are Eric Bieniemy disciples, who follow Eric Bieniemy wherever he goes, who thinks that he walks on water, right? If you can't accept his failures, you can't accept his successes either. If the failures of the Chiefs are not on his back, don't put their successes on his back either. So for all those who try to crown him as he's the reason for them being there, when they don't do well, don't say it wasn't him. Now, I have been on this podcast and I have not criticized, but I've questioned the genius of Eric Bieniemy. I still have questions about the genius of Eric Bieniemy. I do not have questions about the genius of Byron Leftwich. No one does. You know why? Because Bruce Arians made a conscious decision. Hey, I've been an OC in the NFL for a long freaking time. I brought success to Peyton Manning. I brought success to Andrew Luck. I brought success to Ben Roethlisberger. I brought success to Carson Palmer. But you know what? When I have a black offensive coordinator under me, I am going to relieve all offensive play calling duties to him. There's not going to be any question about who is doing this. It's going to be him. It's going to be him. So no one has any questions. No one is guessing, hey, how much of it is Byron Leftwich? How much of it is Bruce Arians? Bruce Arians did what he had to do and say, I'm moving myself out the way. I'm just going to tell us when we got to go for it on fourth and when I got to call timeouts and when I got to challenge. The whole offense is up to Byron Leftwich. Andy Reid has not done that. And because he has not done that, we don't know. We don't know who to blame or who to praise. We don't know. And because we don't know, people just get left to their own devices.
You can blame refs too a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, sure. The refs, you know, hey, that comes with Tom Brady. That's been there since 2000.
That don't make it right though. That don't.
Hold on. Before you go. Oh, okay. I think you was pretty much done, Christian.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Sean Hard. So having the refs on his side, that comes with the mystique of Tom Brady. You pointed out the penalty with the early interception. I think I hear what you're saying in terms of like, yo, it's irritating that he gets lucky with calls, or it's to the point where it's just like, maybe you're paying them.
I'm off of the realm of luck now, but go ahead.
But is it not fair to say that some of those penalties, regardless if you like them, were self-inflicting of the Kansas City Chiefs?
Not all of them.
No, not all of them. But the tone and sentiment I get from Isaac is that every last one of them was a result that they was rooting for Tom Brady. Like
no.
That's not this. No, that may not be how you mean it, but that's just the energy that I get from you when you speak of it.
I think the energy you get from me is from somebody who lost a lot of money, who was emotionally invested into it. So that's where that's coming from. But as far as like me just logically and objectively thinking about the circumstances, of course I can't blame all of that on, well, the refs just gonna two-hand Tom Brady and just get him to the bowl. You know, like, no.
You speaking from your pockets.
Man, not only that, but I'm speaking realistically too. No, the Chiefs had a lot of self-inflicting wounds, man. I think if you go back to the 2017 NFC Championship game, or excuse me, AFC Championship game, where The Patriots played the Chiefs. Quite literally, the Chiefs could have ended we talked about this last podcast. The Chiefs could have ended that game on the game-winning interception, but yet it gets called back because we got impulsion by the defense for them being in the neutral zone, right? So you give Brady another crack at it, and what happens the very next play? He throws a game-winning touchdown.
That happened.
Do you not give Tom Brady his
I'm
awareness?
just saying, though, man. It's like,
But then, when does he ever get his awareness achievement? That's awareness, knowing that how defenses play. You don't think he does what Kobe does and LeBron does, and just sit and watch these defensive players and know their different mannerisms, different types of routes?
I think we're having a different conversation, Darnell, because I was speaking to
the refs.
I know,
but he's manipulating the game to where it makes it seem that way, but he's really just getting penalties that he knows the ref's gonna call. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I would disagree.
Before you go, Isaac, before y'all go, to I guess help drive what Darnell is saying. In the basketball world, were you really just selling that pump fake to make them get into you so you can get a 3-point shot off? That's in terms of manipulating the ref from a basketball perspective. And I think he's saying Tom Brady, it may look like his passes are off the wall, but it's like, I know that'd probably be a PI. So let me just throw it up there to see. It's a 50-50 ball. Either I'm going to get a PI or ain't nobody going to catch.
Definitely.
Yeah,
right?
I would
every
disagree.
single play.
Not every single penalty, but there is an essence of that in there, right? It's that gamesmanship. There is that cunning veteran savvy of, I'm going to just throw this, and yeah, I know it may get picked, but it'll get the penalty thrown that I'm trying to. Yeah, no, that bullshit that happened with Tyron picking that off, that was just Coach, you can attest to this. That's instincts, right? That's just Tyron, being around the ball, just making an opportunistic play, right? Just off the tip. That's tip drill, right? Come on, defensive back, you taught him tip drill. Come on, Oski, go find somebody to block. Come on, man. We go find somebody to block. We're trying to go the other way. But I just feel like more times than not, watching Tom Brady, he has those opportunistic fucking plays. Yeah. More times than I would like for them to happen. And it always seems like the referee is always catching the other team, and it's never really reciprocated as far as, the other team is concerned with the amount of penalties that they get. Because the disparity on yesterday, man, that shit was, come on, man, penalty yardage, that shit wasn't close. Actual number of penalties wasn't close. Yeah. I mean, but you can attest that to, that's Tom Brady on the team being coached up and all of that, but damn.
Yeah, so, it was pretty egregious.
That should have been called.
Say that again.
Y'all just see one pass interference that shouldn't have been
called. I saw a lot of them next.
No, the one to Isaac, I would have that's like, why would if the ball is thrown that way? If the ball is thrown that way, I can see why you would call it. Like you say, it had nothing to do with the game. But after that didn't define. I think they may have scored a touchdown. Hold on. They
did score a touchdown. They did score a touchdown later on that drive. I would say this. So they had 11.
Didn't even on the field goal. How many penalties did they get on the field goal? Right. That was a touchdown. That was before the Gronk touchdown.
Bro, they had 80 yards of penalties before the first half.
Hold on. It was
before the end of the first half.
Yeah, like them lining up in the neutral zone. I did not see anybody lined up.
No, they were lined up.
4th and 5 when they was getting ready to punt.
And you know what, then that's a goddamn shame on the Chiefs, because that's the same bullshit that they tried to pull with Tom Brady a few years ago with being undisciplined and not being prepared. What the hell is that?
Not respecting the game.
Yeah, so I would say, exactly. I would say this. They had 11 penalties. At least 8 were legit penalties. We're legit. Hey,
well, damn, Chris, you might well said all of them, but yeah, I feel you.
Well, no, I'm just saying. So I'm gonna tell you the ones. I'm gonna tell you the ones that I would say. Hey,
at least 8. That's like damn.
I want to hit this.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the ones that I didn't agree with what the refs called. Number 1, the holding call on the pick that you already called out.
That was on Ward.
Number 2. The penalty they called on Tyrann Mathieu in the end zone versus Mike.
Oh
Mike
my
Evans.
God!
That's not pass interference.
I think that's the perfect example of Tom Brady manipulating the refs.
No,
Yeah.
but that's you can't
Well, no,
manipulate
that's
it.
the thing is,
That's bad reference.
not-
Stop calling
that's
it
bad
manipulation,
reference.
bro.
But
That's a part of
No.
manipulating, though, Isaac. You may
Yes,
hate
sir.
it and not
No.
like it, but if he a bad
Edward.
ref and it's gonna work out in my favor, I'm gonna exploit that.
Yes, sir. It's the
That's
game,
a part
bro.
of the game, bro. It sounds
Respect the
dirty
game.
and it don't benefit
No,
you, but that's a
Edward,
part of the
no,
game.
Edward.
Brother, you talking about putting the whole integrity of
Edward,
what we trying to
different.
work so
Okay.
hard to establish. You calling it into question, bro.
Edward.
I can't have you making them type of you can make that call in the regular season, but for the game, for the game, no.
I
don't
can't
need
argue
you
for the
doing
ref.
But they've been
Because
doing
you-
that the whole
look,
time.
look,
That's
look.
why the Phillies were dumb
Had
Had they
playing.
been letting them play all game, I wouldn't have said anything. But they were so nip and tuck the whole game. So to when the Buccaneers defensive backs were actually holding Kansas City, bro, it was so many blown PI calls on the other side. It was ridiculous. It was almost sickening to watch at a certain point because it was like, damn,
I would
get it
disagree with that,
Brady, but like, golly, can we get some of that too?
Yeah, I would
You
disagree.
had the
with
last
that.
one. What was the third one that you didn't agree with?
The third one that I didn't agree with was the unsportsmanlike conduct on Tyrann Mathieu.
Absolutely.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. No punches were you had words, but Tom Brady was jawing just as much. Tom Brady was taunting just as much. And the penalty went to Tyrann Mathieu. So
It was another one, Christian, where I think they just got caught in like the hand in the cookie jar being the retaliators, as opposed to like they got saw last pushing and shoving because with the center.
With Chris Jones.
Chris Jones,
But the thing is, Chris Jones threw a punch though. That's the difference. Chris Jones hit the man in the face.
Kind of gave him a nice little shove before.
Yeah, he got
one
a shove, but when you hit somebody in the face though, I mean,
I didn't lose as much money as you, so I'm good.
Yeah, when you hit somebody in the face though, I mean, come on, if he just would have shoved him like he got shoved, okay, there's something we can do. But he hit him in the face.
Mask on, bro. You talking about getting hit in the face, bro?
So that was a PI. I think it was a consequential PI that they called because the Buccaneers defender falls down, and then Mike Evans falls down right after that.
Mike Evans with the sale job, bro.
Yeah, Mike Evans sold it, but Mike Evans sold it, but I think it still was a good call though. I think it still was a good call.
Horrible call.
That was a horrible call.
I'm not gonna
good call.
I'm not gonna.
I think it's a good call. I mean,
and then, a lot of
we also got to think about
it. So that's 3 to you. That's 4 to me. Those 4 calls, bro. They were in the DNA of the game to me.
Okay,
they were, but they didn't necessarily. They didn't change the outcome of the game though.
That pick, they could have scored. They could have scored off that pick.
I feel like
that would have put them in their own territory.
But how many times were they in their own territory and got nothing out of it?
Exactly. Listen, something I didn't say the last podcast.
It's something to be said when the win has been sucked out of yourself.
Real quick, Isaac. Something I didn't bring up last week that was brought up before the game. In their Week 12 matchup, the Chiefs were in the red zone 3 times. You know how many touchdowns they got? 0. Every time they got in the red zone versus the Bucs all year in the Super Bowl and in Week 12, no touchdowns. So that has been a trend that's been going on. Yeah, they probably would have got a field goal out of that pick. They would not have scored a touchdown.
All right,
they had not figured this defense out.
Can't say that though.
Look. Let's put a pin on that because we can talk about the penalties the entire episode. So my question goes to Sedacious. So obviously Patrick Mahomes' offensive line was not at full strength. And this might be a dumb question. I'm still learning the X's and O's, the intricacies of it with football. I don't know. We can always ask Coach Johnson, but one of the things I pay attention to you, Sedacious, with you, I know. When we was growing up and we always played Madden, like you would play around, but like when you lock in, like you in your shotgun package. No questions asked. I'm on my shotgun package. Don't interrupt Isaac. Don't interrupt Isaac. Don't interrupt Isaac. So
whooping this nigga, you crazy.
Boy, I got no man.
From like when we talk about all the pressure that Patrick Mahomes was getting, all right, we talk about all the pressure that he was getting, whether that be on the center, whether they in the shotgun. When I thought that like it was very wise or smart to use shotgun is when like a motherfucker was blitzing me and I didn't have enough time to be on the center, so I need the shotgun, so I got a little bit of breathing room to possibly scan whatever's going on and get it out, however that may be. Could possibly, even though the offensive line wasn't what it was, could possibly just bring in Patrick Mahomes, making him sit out in a shotgun. And maybe that was good. I don't know how it weighed out in terms of how many times he was under center and shotgun. Could that possibly stopped a little bit of the bleeding from all the rushing that he was getting?
No, because you got to run the ball to win the game, bro. And when you run the ball, you control the tempo. And like that D line was harassing everybody in the backfield. Patrick Mahomes, both his running backs, they harassed them. So no, because and then when you get in the shotgun, that's a luxury. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have that. They didn't have that luxury. They get in the shotgun, they know, oh, all y'all gonna do is throw the ball. And if all y'all gonna do is throw the ball, we just gonna stay in the position that we in, deep as fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it was.
Could you not disguise the shotgun for a run? Because Clyde Edwards-Helaire was decent. Could you not disguise the run out of the shotgun? No,
it's the old lineman, bro. You can only do so much.
And then you gotta abandon the run after you fucking down double digits now. So it's like now, even though we're being a little, somewhat effective with the run, shit, we gotta abandon it now. We got a game to get back into, and we quick to abandon it. Look who we got.
Yeah, Isaac. For you though, like this is. It's the Patrick Mahomes argument, but I really don't want it to be an argument. I say that sincerely and truthfully. Let me get it out, Isaac. Please don't interrupt. Let me get it out.
What?
So it is not. Patrick Mahomes should not be singled out or pointed out in any type of way to say, why that's just like, don't do it. Don't do it. In any type of way to be like, yo, this is his fault. Help me, Isaac. This is what I struggle with. I feel like if some miraculous, well, first of all, before going into this game, a lot of people were highly aware of the circumstances Patrick Mahomes was under with his O-line.
Right.
However, all of y'all, and I feel like it's fair to say all of y'all, Isaac,
including picked him in spite of. I did.
In spite of, because y'all feel like his talent, his ability, everything that came with it, he was that guy. He was going to override all that. He was going to override needing a foundation of an offensive line. Everybody chose that. Now, this is my problem, and this is my struggle. I want Isaac to answer first, but it's also to you, Darnell, and you, Christian. Really, all y'all, but I want Isaac to go first. And let Darnell go, too, before you jump, Christian. We would have praised him to the heavens had he achieved the unachievable.
True.
But he didn't find a way to do it. And now instead of judging him how we would have judged him had he achieved the unachievable, we put him in the closet and be like, don't worry about it, baby. I feel like that's not fair criticism for somebody who we're trying to deem the GOAT. I feel like if you are the GOAT, if you are the greatest, you don't have to take all the bad, Christian. You don't have to take all of it. But you must be able to take the good with the bad if you're going to be the GOAT.
Did he not do that yesterday? Did he not take the whole game on his shoulder and say, you can blame me. This is on me today. They played great. They played a hellified game. And we didn't have it. We didn't come as prepared as they were. They were better than us. They were a way better team than us yesterday. I think he came out and I'm paraphrasing. But he did.
No. He did say that. I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes personally taking it on. I appreciate him saying that, but I'm talking about from a Twitter environment or social media environment or whatever environment.
He shouldn't take
those people ain't gonna say, yo, Patrick Mahomes, like, it looked kind of shaky for him. I ain't
gonna lie though. You know why I say that? It's a very special circumstance because say this. Before yesterday, before the Super Bowl, and I say this in all seriousness, I had not seen Patrick Mahomes play a mediocre game of football within the NFL. I have not.
That was a mediocre game yesterday?
I mean, to his standards, yes. Compared to his standards, the man who the only quarterback in NFL history to average over 300 yards work, I'm talking about consecutively.
Did Patrick Mahomes play great yesterday?
Yes.
Fuck Roddy did.
Yes.
God, he did. He did. You know what? I think
Exactly. Thank you, Coach Johnson. Of course he did.
But Edward, stay with me though. Stay with me. Stay with me on my explanation. It's quick. You gotta stay with me. He's saying that, so you're not really getting my full explanation. So I'm gonna go first, and then I'm gonna let Darnell. Then I'm gonna have a order you added in.
I don't even need to go. Go ahead.
All right. So look, this is what I believe. I believe everything is in context, right? You have to contextualize it and put it in its proper place. Due to the circumstances of us not seeing him at full strength in the team and it being a team game, one cannot sit there and say
it wasn't a team. I'm sorry, Isaac. It wasn't a. Y'all wasn't considering a team game before y'all all picked them though.
It was. I wouldn't know how it wasn't a team game when I said that.
So when I said,
I just no, wait. What I said was yes, I did believe that he could overcome the deficiencies. Was I wrong?
Woefully.
I was woefully wrong. I said that. I did admit that. I told you this wasn't gonna be one of my favorite episodes. It was gonna be a lot of, I ain't backpedaling. I'm definitely standing on.
No, I'm not saying you backpedaling. I was kind of just asking you to speak on the behalf of all the other ones out there. You have anything to add, Darnell?
Yes, this was like the perfect comparison to this game. There's various ones, honestly. A good one, especially in the NBA at least. He played exactly how LeBron
played, and when the mother niggas don't show up, you be looking like, man, that ain't even Bron's fault, bro. Bron dropped the whole 50.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Let him finish his take.
I know. It's an awesome take. I know it is. But it was just like that in the 2018 series or 2017, whichever one he played against the Warriors, and they came up short. You cannot blame LeBron James in that situation. Now, thing about it is, you'll say like, oh, well, he has more talent. No, that talent didn't show up. That talent buckled. That talent didn't want to catch the ball. That talent didn't want to step up to the plate. You can't put all that on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders, even though he's putting up the best he can. I mean, it was so many sacks that he was supposed to get, and he managed to make a play out of it.
I've seen him make a diving ground angled throw, hit somebody right in the fucking face mask, and they dropped it. He did that a few times yesterday, bro.
Like I said, he was at a certain point where,
as well as you could under the circumstances.
Isaac, let him finish.
But like I said, man, it was one of those situations where, like, he's a likable guy, but it ain't about likability. It's like this dude did all he could. I mean, from the rushes, from the, like you said, from the laying down passes. I mean, half those passes he threw, they were just plainly dropped and defended well. That was nothing to do with his talent. So it's like, I mean, shoot, he did all he can. You cannot put it all on his shoulder. You can't even you can blame him, of course, but you cannot give him more than 50% of this blame. You can't put the majority on his shoulders. This was a special case. Like people have been saying, this is a very special case. I don't know what you expect this man to do. He's never been in a position where he's needed to pull his team out the mud by himself.
0 ABR. It's ABR 0, Edward, and you're just gonna have to live with that, my man. It's
all
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. No. All right. All right, Christian. Did you or did you not? I don't want an explanation. Yes or no? Yes or no, Christian, with your response to my question. Did you or did you not tell me before this podcast that Tom Brady was not the best quarterback on the field? Yes.
He wasn't.
How is that humanly fucking possible? Help me.
What do you mean? How is it humanly possible?
Let me. So Edward,
I guess it's because of the circumstances. Because of the circumstances that he was under. Because because his numbers were better. Because his team was more complete. That doesn't mean he was the best player on the field.
Bro,
That's
all
what
y'all
you're
Brady stands kill
Yeah,
me,
that's
Been
what
to
bro.
tell
means,
you,
bro.
Edward.
Brady is not physically superiorly
Hold
talented.
up,
Who is the
hold up,
Go ahead,
Isaac. Hold up,
Johnson.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Listen, Edward. I think you said this earlier in the podcast, so I'm gonna use your words. I think that you have not come over the hump from looking at the NFL like you look at the NBA, right? Because there are more players on the field, more variables,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you see the success of one quarterback, right, that is not necessarily attributed to how great they are. Yeah, Tom Brady just didn't F up. Like I said earlier,
Wow.
if you would have put any quarterback that made the
Ultimate team
playoffs,
game is not basketball.
I stand by this. Any quarterback that made the playoffs, except for Mitchell Trubisky and Drew Brees, if they were playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night, because of the players and the play calling, they would have had the same success as Tom Brady. Tom Brady did not have to do much last night. Yes, he was deadly accurate. Yes, he made the right decisions, but he had guys open. He was only pressured twice. Edward. He only had to throw the ball 29 times.
It has
They
nothing
ran
to do
it
with him
33
being Tom
times.
Brady.
It sounds like
Patrick Mahomes had 56 dropbacks, Edward. How many
Bro,
drops?
you have to understand what he's saying, bro. It has nothing to do about him being Tom Brady, his success. He just, I mean, that, like you said, he's in a perfect position, bro. Like, it's not taking away from his greatness, but he just is in a perfect position.
The best
So why do you
quarterback
feel
on the
like
field
he
last
should
night
be
was
blamed?
Patrick Mahomes. If you would have put Tom Brady in that situation, everyone would have said, hey, he had a great career. He's 43. It's time to hang him up.
He actually has done that against the New York Giants, to be honest with you. That's how the Giants beat him. They kept him on his ass. They kept him down. They put too much pressure on him. Go look at the tapes. Go look at the rings.
I just
Go look at
said
the
that
rings from the
earlier this
Giants.
podcast, Darnell. Nobody wanted to hear me. You know,
It's plain and simple. Like,
same nigga who was
not
telling
taking
me,
away from what Brady did. It's amazing, but
let me finish my point.
Bro, why do you feel like he should have blame?
Bro, I don't think he should have all the blame. All I'm just saying is, bro, I struggle with my perspective from my own eyes. I struggle with the fact that I don't see how you can say he played a great game. You may disagree with me on that. That's fine. But I'm just telling you my perspective on how I see it. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is trash. I'm not saying, man, they get that nigga the fuck out of here. That nigga played dirt. No, that nigga didn't have an offensive line that was stable enough. But what I'm saying is, and I may not even be like tripping with y'all personally. It just may be from like outside noise out here. It's just like, bro, wait a minute. Like, y'all said that nigga could overcome everything. Now that he hasn't, like, treat him as if he didn't overcome and do what he was supposed to do, like you thought he was.
Yeah,
you know
let me respond to that real quick. Let me respond to that real quick. The reason that no one knew who Patrick Mahomes was while he was in college was because his team that he was with was like what he had last night.
Thank you.
The stuff that he did last night, if you go back and look at his college tape, he's doing that. The reason he was number 12 pick in the draft is because they're like, wait a second. Or the number 10 pick, wait a second. The best freaking player in the country is right here. No one knows it because when he puts the ball where it's supposed to be, it doesn't get caught. Because when he doesn't have a line and he has to make a gold pot out of doo-doo, he makes it, and no one's there to pick it up.
That's a bar.
That's exactly what I was to say, man. I have to paraphrase that, bro.
I understand that, Isaac. I understand that, Christian. I'm not just saying that. I understand thoroughly.
Look who Brady has on his team. Don't make us go down the roster. Please don't make me go down the roster.
No, I'm not even on
It's
it.
the best assembled team he done been on, and it ain't even close.
I'm not even on it. I lost my train of thought, but I understand what y'all are saying about that. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. It may or may not come back, but yeah.
But can I say this real quick? I'm gonna say this real quick though. You saw a scared running quarterback running for his life that didn't know what he was to do, right?
I wouldn't say scared.
No. I'm asking Edward. That's what you saw though, right? A scared running quarterback that didn't know what to do.
I saw somebody who didn't have a line.
No. Edward, you say yeah, right?
Say that again, Darnell.
He seemed like a scared, helpless quarterback when you seen him play.
Hopeless? No, I wouldn't say he was hopeless. I think.
But do you feel like it was like you have to realize quarterbacks don't do that. I think
he was rattled early due to his offensive line not being at full strength, and I think that played into however he was trying to process the game down the field. But I also think that, like you say, it's a lot of different variables. So like we all may beat up the offense, but like let's also credit praise to Todd Bowles for how he was covering Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? So like it's not all his fault. It's not all the offensive line fault. Some of this is just respectful to Todd Bowles and their preparation.
Look at the passes that he took, and look how close they really, really were. And then decipher the blame is what I think everybody's trying to get you to understand. Like, look at how close they were. Like, imagine if you made those. What would you say then? What would you even have to say?
Bro, I watched the game and me and Kristen talked. I was like, bro, that's not his fault, bro. I see him doing the best he can do. Like, they getting hit in the face with the ball and like.
But what if they would have made those catches? Then what?
That's good. That's great. If
those catches were pretty dramatic catches that would have spunk him into the game. A lot of those drops were like, hey man, you tripping. Like Kelce dropped a bad one. Hill dropped a few.
Yeah, bro.
Watson, I mean, it's like, bro, they would have made those catches.
My gripe, and we may be beating a dead horse, but like that's not his fault. But I guess overall, my frustration is added with like my basketball analysis personality that I try to look at football with is that like I'm hearing all y'all tell me this man is great. And I'm like, this nigga about to be fucking Houdini out here, apparently, because that's what I keep hearing from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't see Houdini, I see a motherfucker who he ain't no different. If he don't have an offensive line like everybody else in the league, he's going to look trash. It's like, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just like, no, that nigga not Houdini. Y'all lying. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, and for me, it's like, now that y'all see this nigga not Houdini, let's sit and rest in that. Let's not make him out to be more than what he is.
Yeah.
Let's not make him be a player who can overcome beating the other 10 guys to be great.
I think the question you should ask, instead of saying they're wrong, I think you should ask, so is he Houdini still? And if they say yeah, they gonna have no proof to say yeah. So they're gonna be forced to be like, well, the nigga ain't Houdini, you know what I'm saying? But he's still pretty damn good. You see what I'm saying? You get on their ass that way. You can't say, oh no. Not only is he not Houdini, he still might not be as good as y'all say, because then you would be wrong. Then that's where your argument.
Yeah. I think Edward, the position that you're in right now is kind of where I was with Deshaun Watson early in the year, right? I was having trouble comparing him with what I saw on the field to what everybody else was saying about him, right? And that's where you are now. You're like, wait a second. Everything I heard y'all talking about beforehand, compared to what I saw, those two don't match. Right, that's where you are right now.
And I'm specifically talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the nigga is lights out, full strength. I'm not
denying or arguing. Yeah, so you're saying, hey, what y'all said before, this pedestal y'all put him on, what I saw at the Super Bowl is not that, right? I would say you're correct in that, and we've had conversations, you and I privately, about, hey, this pedestal that Patrick Mahomes is on. Even though I still think he's probably the best quarterback in the league, right? I still don't put him on that same pedestal everybody else does because I notice like you do, wait a second, there's still a lot that helps him be what he is.
Travis Kelce underneath.
Right? So yeah, so I'm with
something?
you. I completely understand where you are. What I think will be better though for you is that you make that clear that hey, look, I'm just trying to say that what I heard that he was, right? We had a chance to see if he was really that, and he's not that. Instead of saying, hey, he didn't get the job done. Because that's a whole other different thing, right? He didn't live up to what y'all said he was versus he didn't play great.
He didn't do his job.
That's two different things. Hey, he can still play great, but not be Houdini.
I can understand the fine line between that. Hold on. Okay, so all right, so let's have this conversation. Since Tom Brady just didn't lose the game, and since Tom Brady went up against a hobbled Kansas City Chiefs team, does he still need to win another Super Bowl to solidify his greatness as forever being the GOAT?
No.
Why not?
I mean,
he played wonderful.
Hey.
Why not?
So I've been the one.
No. Christian, please don't say that right now. Sedation, go.
Say it again.
Man, this for your own sick personal. You
Why does Tom?
I said why? My initial question was since Tom Brady didn't win his 7th Super Bowl up against a well-oiled, full-strength Kansas City Chiefs team, does he need to win another Super Bowl to solidify forever being the GOAT?
Because I didn't take the Chiefs not being at full strength. I never took that away from Brady as like that was like an asterisk on this Super Bowl. Nah, man, they won fair and square. You can't help injury. That's a part of the sports. You can't help injury. But it is woven into the DNA and the context of the game when you do go back for analytical purposes and you go to analyze it. But no, I'm not gonna put an asterisk by it. They won it fair and square. Yeah. That was a better team, bro.
And speaking of Tom Brady, he done won 7 rings over decades. It ain't just like he got 7 rings. He was gonna be the GOAT. 7 years.
He was gonna be the GOAT even if he lost this. Still, in my opinion.
Exactly. Me too.
Because he's the most accomplished quarterback to have ever walked God green earth. Not the most talented, but greatest as far as accomplishments. Yes.
Does Patrick this? That's a bad question because I know where it's going to go. Can Patrick Mahomes possibly be GOAT or get close to Tom Brady or trump Tom Brady?
I say he can get close. He can make it to where it's an argument. I think
this be a major bookmark.
I think if Brady still plays and he ends up beating Brady in a rematch, I think he can overcome that mantra of him being the GOAT. But I do believe, as far as barbershop talk is concerned, they're gonna need another head-to-head matchup for him to exercise those demons, so to speak, so he can get that off his back.
He can't. He can't get nowhere close. He can't be
fuck
demon.
you,
It's
man.
done. Patrick Mahomes should have got this one 2 in a row to be able to start getting
string, bro.
But when the GOAT, when the person that we're trying to compare you to spank you to get his 7 and it look like he finna go out with it.
Hey, let's say this.
But like, is it fair to say he got spanked if he wasn't at full strength, like y'all been saying?
Say it again.
I say, is it fair to consider the spanking if like they wasn't at full strength?
Oh, it's quarterback versus quarterback. It don't matter. That shit y'all talking about with football being a team sport, that's when we go to quarterback versus quarterback. That's what we're talking about, right?
So it's a team sport. Tom Brady don't go up and play DB up against Patrick Mahomes.
What other quarterback has 7
so what are you saying? Okay,
what makes him the GOAT? What makes Tom Brady the GOAT? His rings, right?
Exactly, accomplishments, like I just said, bro.
Patrick Mahomes would be lucky to end his career with 3.
Christian, don't go get, Christian, don't go. This question is for you. Sedacious, thank you. You gave me another great question. Was the Super Bowl, was the Chiefs losing the Super Bowl? Was it either A, them not being at full strength at obviously the offensive line and giving Patrick Mahomes time to throw, whatever? Was it either that A, wait, or B, was it just the fact that they got figured out? Because that was something you said earlier on. You felt like eventually they was gonna get.
Somebody's gonna figure them out eventually.
So have they figured out, or was it just a bad situation?
This is pure injury, because if he got the time that he typically has, I feel like it's a shootout. And then Tampa Bay's defense isn't bailed out as much. You know what I'm saying? Defenses aren't typically bailed out when it comes to Patrick Mahomes.
I say this: the tables turn as far as health concerned, right? Because when they did match up, I believe in week 12, the Bucs line was a bit decimated, as was the Chiefs' O-line to a degree, right? I think at that time they had only one starter down.
They had two down. They had two down.
But see, now I believe they got, I believe, what is Eric Fisher, number 1, number 2 overall draft pick?
Number 1.
He's number 1 overall draft, right? So when you lose,
even though he hadn't been playing like a number 1 draft pick the past couple of years though, but yes, he was a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good. He wasn't a Hall of Famer.
He was better. Oh, okay. We veering off into another round.
So did they get figured out, or was it just they wasn't at full strength?
Oh, it didn't get figured out.
Both can be true at the same time. The defensive game plan figured out that hey, they were not patient enough, or they didn't have enough in their scheme to figure out, hey, we can't throw it down the field. Let's dump it underneath beyond our RPO game. But also too, they weren't at full strength on the line. So both are true. But here's something that I think people need to understand. When Patrick Mahomes came out, the comp that everyone gave him was Brett Favre, right? Brett Favre in 1996 went to the Super Bowl. The Green Bay Packers won it. Went back in 1997, lost to the then GOAT of the time, John Elway, and never got back to the Super Bowl.
Not comparing Brett Favre to Patrick Mahomes.
I'm just saying.
We comparing the
Chiefs.
You not speak that into existence, brother? Because you've been on like a little streak.
The Chiefs are losing a lot. The Chiefs are losing a lot on defense this upcoming year. They're losing a lot of pieces. Brett Veach, their GM, has not done a good job of drafting. A lot of the players that they have, a lot of their stars, John Dorsey put there.
Oh, John Dorsey.
Hey,
John Dorsey put a lot of their stars there on offense.
I respect him as a GM. I really do.
Coach Curtis Johnson.
They have not done a good job retooling. So do not be surprised if Patrick Mahomes does not make it back to the Super Bowl. Though he might be the best quarterback in the league while he's playing. Do not be surprised if he does not make it back.
I won't be.
Don't speak that into existence.
I won't be. I said he
ain't got no power to speak that to existence.
Bro, he's been on a hot streak. Let's put some respect on this man's name a little bit.
I think the man is gonna be back. I'm not saying next year, but come on, man. I expect Patrick to play at bare minimum, at least another 10 years, right? So yeah. I do foresee him getting back and winning.
Hey, how many Super Bowls has Aaron Rodgers been to? All right.
One of them.
Patrick Mahomes,
that was rigged,
Rodgers, brother.
I explained how that was rigged in an earlier podcast. Y'all go check it out.
I'm just saying.
The GM for the Packers, they ain't been known for building no strong teams around Aaron Rodgers. Every year they look at Aaron Rodgers with the googly eyes and be like, "Can you please
exactly
us there? Can you please? We gonna draft bad, and we gonna even draft a quarterback in the first round. Can you still get us there? Can you still get us there?"
He got $500 million.
It's a team game.
I appreciate y'all for rocking with us tonight. Whoever it is, man, named after a great fucking man. Shout out to this dude's dad, man. I like him too. Real dude, authentic as they get.
It's gonna be a tough one.
It is gonna be tough.
It takes a team to win championships.
Hey man, I would say this, man. I sound like Christian. I freaking
A, bro.
No, man, I truly hate that the football season has come to an end. Doing this podcast is really, it sounds like we like about to stop talking football, but that's not true. But I'm just speaking my piece. Doing this podcast has truly made me love and appreciate the game of football. I've been learning X's and O's. Obviously, as you know, I'm like working on my basketball mind and trying to like chip away at that as I understand and continue to watch football. And so for the listeners out there, I hope that y'all appreciating and respecting the game also through listening to our podcast. So yeah, man, we're gonna definitely be getting into some off-season stuff. Coach Johnson ain't going nowhere. He's still gonna be on every week. He's gonna be our he gonna be our Coach Johnson. We ain't gonna even name no other names out there because we our own entity. But yeah, so believe that. Yeah, man, y'all boys can sign yourselves out, man.
Shine Hard Izzo, man. Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, whatever, MySpace, all that shit. Fuck with me.
Remember, it's Black Peace, the host of Talking Smoke. Remember to follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good business for the hip hop podcast talk that I do. I'm gonna pass it on.
This will be the last time I'm going after Darnell. Next week, I will be going back last. Christian got me fucked up. It's your boy, aka Live the Rapper. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and please do keep tuning in.
I will say this, just so it's not misconstrued. I do think that Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback and a great talent.